Okay, so today I'm gonna talk about why intellectuals are looked at as like outcasts in the black community. Now, I'm gonna start off by saying this: not all, but majority of the cases. Um, the reason why a lot of intellectuals are banished or looked down upon within the black community is simply because they they don't really fit the stereotype of a lot of the people who live in the hood, who live in the black community. You know, when I used to go to school, I used to peep game a lot. I used to peep game a lot um, when I was in high school and junior high school or whatever. And I would notice, it would be some smart cats in the hood or whatever, man. It would be man, they would just be like super intelligent, you know what I'm saying? Just make straight A's, just all about their business when it came to school. Yet they was looked down upon some because they wasn't running after chicks or they couldn't really get no chicks. They didn't have a dating life. Um, because they wasn't out on the block with the rest of the niggas. Um, because because they really didn't use excuses. They just had their heads in the books, and it's a shame that people like this are looked down upon, are banished and outcast from the black community. Simply because they choose to focus on their career or on their goals. And then these same people who talked about them or ostracized them. You know, when that intellectual brother, when that intellectual sister, um, graduates from college, has that good career and comes back to the hood or whatever to visit their family or whatever. Them same people who used to talk about that person, now they're like, oh well, that person, they just so uppity, they think they better than everybody else. Well, nah, that's not the case. When you was going to school with them, you didn't want to holler at them, show them no love. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to date them. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to date that brother. So now that he's on the right track, he's going somewhere, he's gotten somewhere, and you're still at the same point, and you're still working at the same spot that you worked at when you were in high school. It's no longer a summer job, it's your full-time job. You're making 8-10 bucks an hour. You have about 2-3 kids. And now that same cat who you wouldn't give play to, the same cat that you called a nerd or whatever, now all of a sudden, he's doing good for himself, and uh simply because you can't get him, or if you miss your chance when you was in high school, you're gonna call him an uppity nigga or an Uncle Tom, or you know, and that's basically how it goes. And these same people, they don't. Some of them are arrogant, but I've met some that was actually humble. You know what I'm saying? Yet they're deemed arrogant Uncle Toms, by everyone else simply because they haven't reached that level. They're jealous of that person's success. My mother used to always tell me the best revenge is success. And that's pretty much the truth. People didn't like you back in the day, when you was on your dean, when you didn't have your head up every chick's ass, when you wasn't when you wasn't running with the rest of the girls, you know what I'm saying, and hopping on every nigga back or whatever, you know what I'm saying. You wasn't going to all the dances and worried about what that person thought about you. You wasn't really worried about that. That person wasn't really worried about that. They were focused and they didn't really. Yes, they may have been hurt, you know what I'm saying, back in the day, it was chicks they couldn't get and dudes they couldn't get, but now they have a name for themselves. And guess what? They have a big choice of what mate they want to be with now. Simply because they have their career, they have everything set and it's a go. So now you thought you was the you thought you was the shit, but that intellectual brother, intellectual sister is back in the hood, and you know, and now you see what you missed out on simply because you wanted to run behind nothingness. You wanted to run behind nonsense. Your mind was more on boys, your mind was more on girls than actually achieving. And like I say, that person has a wide range of the type of female, the type of man that they can get, simply because they've reached that peak, they've reached that pinnacle. And no, they're not uppity, they're not stuck up. It's just that you didn't want that person, you didn't want to fool with that person, you didn't want to show that person no love when back in high school, back in the school days. You was one of the people that was talking about them and talking about how square they was, and but now they doing great for themselves. And what are you doing? Nothing at all. So holla at your boy and tell me what y'all think about this one. One.